This is the plaintiff, Marcia Chung. She says she was hired by the defendant to inspect properties to see if they were vacant, worked for a month, ran around like a chicken without a head, and wasn't paid a dime. She even laid out money for equipment like a GPS and a smartphone, and still nothing. She's suing for $5,000 for unpaid wages and field expenses. This is the defendant, Andre Logan. He says he owns a company that does field services for mortgage companies to determine if the properties they have are vacant or occupied. The plaintiff was inept at her job, claiming places were empty when people were in fact still living there. As far as paying her, the woman came to him broke as a joke, and he advanced her cash against her salary. Bottom line, she's been fully compensated, that's for sure. He's accused of failing an employee.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff was hired to inspect properties for the defendant, claims he got stiffed, but the defendant simply says the plaintiff was inept. It's the case of Inspector. He hardly knew her.
Thank you, Doug.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Marcia Chung.
Right.
You are suing Andre Logan and his business Zoom Check Incorporated, catchy name, for $5,000. You say you're actually out more than that for unpaid wages. You want him to apparently buy your car insurance, your gas, your cell phone, your 2-year cell phone bill, and your GPS that you paid for in order to do this job. Tell me what happened.
Sometime last year, I was in Florida. I reside in Florida initially, and I read an ad on Craigslist for a verification specialist. So I responded to the ad.
What's a verification specialist?
When I called him up, I found out it was to go to the property.
It's what?
No, I didn't know.
That sounds good. All right, go ahead. When you called him up, it was what?
He mentioned that it was to go to the property and verify whether or not they were vacant or occupied.
Okay.
So I said, wow, it sounds like a nice, cool job. I'd like to do that.
On behalf of whom? Tell me about your business. How does this work?
Well, Your Honor, our business is in the field services industry. Basically, our particular portion deals with inspections of properties in local neighborhoods that are sometimes delinquent or near a damaged per se process. So the work we do pretty much greatly enhances.
I don't understand a word you just said. What do you do? Just tell me what you do.
We do inspections on properties.
For whom? Who asked you to do it?
Banks, brokers.
But she's not a contractor. How's she going to inspect the property? I'm not understanding. When you say inspections, I'm thinking, well, people who are going to buy a home want a licensed inspector to inspect, and that's not what you do.
No.
So try it again. What do you do?
We fill out surveys and take pictures of them.
Okay, and you do that in order to find out what information?
Whether or not a property is vacant or occupied.
Okay, so a bank probably has a delinquent mortgage.
Correct.
Okay. Subs it to you sub it to her.
That's correct.
Okay. What were you paying her per property?
It's dependent on the property. One of our clients' initial inspection was about $4, $2 for certain inspections.
Okay. You were getting paid $2 or $4 per property, or just $2?
I started out at $2 per property on the field sync.
Okay, and so for $2, that's because there's 17 middlemen who got to get paid for it. So for $2, you're going to go to the property and do what? What could you possibly do with one visit to the property? What if they're at work?
Well, it's an observation. The point is to...
What's the observation? If you're trying to hustle and you're only making $2 per property, you're going... In fact, according to you, you could do 200 properties a day.
That is correct.
Right, exactly. So just how much observation are you going to do?
Well, it's a fast-paced thing.
Yeah,
and that's why
so I'm going to look at a house, I'm going to say, I don't see anybody there, and then decide that the house is vacant based on that?
Well, you look at certain things. Livability. Are there garbage cans in the front of the house? Decorations on the property. Things like that. The obvious that would...
Grass that hasn't been mowed.
Right, that's correct, Your Honor.
Right. Well, do your people, like, peek in the windows?
No.
They ask us to do that.
Of course they ask you to do that.
Absolutely.
All right. You can't say yes, because then you're sanctioning trespassing, because you have to trespass in order to peek in the window. But of course, if there's no furniture in there, it's a pretty good sign that nobody's living. All right, so go on. So you get hired to do this, and it's $2 a house.
That's correct.
All right, and then you go out and you buy a car.
August, I picked up a little runaround for $700, and
A little runaround, you mean a car?
Yeah,
okay.
A standard shift car that I
And he should
used.
pay for your car because what?
Well, I wouldn't need a car if I didn't need that.
If you didn't have a job?
If I didn't have that type of work to do in New York City, I wouldn't be able to.
So did he ever say he'd buy you a car?
No, absolutely
Then
not.
why was he going to
never
buy you a car now when you
because
don't
he
have the
said-
job?
Judge, what he said was he needed a car to do the work.
Then go get another job. That doesn't need a car if you don't have a car. Why would he buy you a car? All right, so you go out, you buy a car, GPS, a phone, you sign a 2-year phone deal. So what happened? Why are you here? What went wrong? You got fired?
You can't get fired from your own work.
I'm an
independent contractor.
If you're a subcontractor, all of a sudden you stop getting work?
He stopped sending me work.
Okay, why? What happened?
He insisted that I get a Sprint Touch Pro 2 because he needed that particular phone to do what he had to do. So I went ahead and I, according to him, took this out. I mean, come on, Judge. You know what you're putting me into. This is not a fly-by-night company that you prepay. This is Sprint, who comes with a service contract. This gentleman knows that. This is not a joke to him. It's not a joke to me.
When did he ever agree to pay 2 years of your phone? I'm not understanding.
Well, that's what
Here's what happened. You wanted a job. You weren't equipped to get the job on your own because you didn't have a car, you didn't have a smartphone, you didn't have that. So what was the purpose of the smartphone? To be able to find addresses on it?
To be able to program the companies that.
Okay, so to use it. So you didn't have what it took to get that job. So you went out. Stop. So you didn't have a car. So you went out and bought a car. Now you want him to buy it for you because they've stopped giving you business. You didn't have the kind of phone he needed you to have. So you went out and bought it. He never said he was going to pay for it. But now that they stopped giving you business, you want him to pay for it. I mean, you understand where that's a little bit of a stretch, right?
Yeah, but you can also understand that he left me saddled with a bill that he could actually go one of two ways.
He's not your boyfriend. They can fire you at any time. What right do you have to not be fired? Why did you fire her?
Her performance was, in the end, it was terrible.
Why? What was so terrible about it?
Well, one of the key things is she called our client, and the client basically told me, hey, you got a loose cannon. She's calling here. She's irate. She's upset. And she's talking about...
the client about? What did the client tell you she was irate or upset about?
I took her work from her because her performance was just low. It was
Did you hear my question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What did the client tell you that your employee had said in an irate and upset fashion? What did they relate to you was the conversation with your employee?
She said that Ms. Chung offered to do work in another area, perhaps Florida or something.
So she was trying to steal your client?
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have none of that. Why are you looking at your wife? Why?
She's got all the info here.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
She also bad addressed a lot of the addresses that were actually correct addresses.
How do you know they were correct addresses?
We went to them ourselves. We had also one of our contractors redo her work.
Okay.
And
cost me.
But none of that happened until after you found out she was trying to steal your client, right?
Well, yeah, but the client, they take a couple of days to review the work and then bring it back to us if we do it wrong or if one of them do it wrong. So.
Okay.
Even beyond that, before even getting to that point, that was just the final straw. It was just the constant trying to get her on track, trying to get her on board. She just wasn't doing the job. There was a lot of complaints and things like that. All the stuff that I didn't have to deal with.
How many people do you hire to do this?
I have about 17 folks, Your Honor.
Okay. What's the most houses you've ever seen anybody do in one day?
Over 200.
How can you possibly be honestly going to visit 200 addresses?
There can be 10 properties in one block or 100 in a 5-block radius.
That are in foreclosure?
Foreclosure,
You'd be surprised,
delinquency, bankruptcy. Yes.
Wow.
The numbers are pretty high in New York.
But that's not the average of 200.
That's not the average. That's our best guy.
On the average, what do your employees visit a day?
50 to 100.
50 to 100.
Wow.
And it takes a little bit of time.
I can't imagine how thorough someone's being in that kind of a job. Because, your incentive is, if it's $2 a property, is to log as many addresses as you can. I can't imagine you're being very thorough.
That's what happened on the April 4th, Your Honor. She had given me a route that had approximately 30-something properties on that assignment. And she insisted that, by the way, the properties were given to me late, Your Honor. They were already overdue.
So if she takes it upon herself to get a smartphone and the employer never said, I'll pay for it, does she get money back from the employer for it?
Absolutely not. Because he took it on himself to get this and wasn't told by the employer.
You buying that?
Yeah, I agree with that. He should have not assumed to be reimbursed for that purchase.
You get the final word.
Hey, you got to ask your employer first, always.
One would think, going inside the courtroom.
Here's where we are. I think you might know so far by my tone that I'm not going to make him buy you a car or a phone. That these are things that he never agreed to buy you. We're not going to talk about that. So waste your time not on those issues. What I want you to talk to me about, because you can't possibly believe that I'm going to make him pay $110 a month for your phone for the next 2 prospective years. Well, I wouldn't have bought one if I wasn't trying to get that job. Well, too bad. That's what you did. Don't be ridiculous. Who are the girls behind you?
One's my daughter, who's credit card I used.
By the way. Okay, no, just so you know.
I used her credit card to put the purchases
on.
Oh,
for the love of God. All right. Now, let's talk about unpaid wages, because I do want to talk about that. All right? What wages have you not been paid for? That's what I want to know.
Well, quite frankly, Judge, I can't even figure out what I've been paid for, because according to him, the system has everything that I've done logged in. Up until now, I haven't been able to see it, view it. So I'm like, what did you pay me for? He sent me a check on March 24th, I believe it was, for $500 and some dollars. I have it written here.
Okay.
It didn't clear my account until the 29th of the month. And it was, like I said, for $500. So
how much was that check?
$536. It was in advance also.
That was advance.
Okay.
Right. Well, this advance.
Okay, but you can't. But are you suggesting that that's the only money you ever paid her?
Yes.
And is that the only money she ever earned?
No, absolutely not.
So do you owe her money? Do you agree that you owe her money?
Yes, we do.
How much money do you owe her?
About
total
$22.
That's it? You owe her $22? So, but she worked for you for a month.
She worked for us for a month. She received an advance.
And if people are doing, what records do you keep of who does what houses?
Right here.
We have everything.
This is some of her records. We don't short anybody, Your Honor.
Hold on a second. This says Inspector Andre Logan. How do I know this has anything to do with her?
Inspector 7.
Okay, can you stop talking? I'm trying to help you, but you can't even allow yourself to be helped. Try that again. What did you just say? She's Inspector number 7?
Yes.
Okay, so what does that mean? On 3/9, she did 54 houses.
Right.
On 3/12, she did 7. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So how many total houses in the time she worked for you did she view?
100 and, total?
Total.
292 plus 124. Those are for 2 separate clients. It's different pay.
That's fine.
Well,
why? Because 292 were at $2 and 124 were at $4.
Right.
Okay. Does that sound right or not right?
ma'am.
That does sound right. Okay. So 292 at $2 would be a total of $564. And then 124 times $4 would be another $496.
Exactly.
Okay.
Why was
500. Hold on, ma'am, please.
Okay.
You came in here with nothing. I'm trying to find something. Find the off button on your mom and press it. I've been trying for 20 years. Boy, if I gave my daughters an off button, they'd have blisters, okay? So you're saying that 250 houses had to be done over?
No, 93 somebody else did.
Okay.
Out of the 124, I believe it is.
This is the letter from
I'm
the
listening. Go on.
Go.
93
out of
somebody
those-
had a do-over.
Right, exactly. Out
Okay.
of those $4 ones.
Okay, let me see that. Now, prove to me that those 93 had to be done over with something other than a letter by somebody who says, trust me, Judge, they were. Do you have any office paperwork that shows that those houses got done over?
I have some pictures of some of the work.
In fact, easier, show me an affidavit from the company, not one of your cronies. Show me an affidavit from the company saying we had to have this work done twice. That's easy.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
That'd be very reputable, right? That'd be great evidence, wouldn't it?
You're
Yes,
right.
I would.
Right.
But we don't have it.
Yeah, why not?
We put a lot of work into this, Your Honor.
Why wouldn't you have what I just said?
You know what? I didn't want my clients involved in this.
Yeah.
But see, this is a simple thing to ask them. You're not asking them to take a lot of time.
That's
You're
correct.
asking them, can you give me proof that you asked me to do these houses twice? All right? All you had to do was ask them to give that to you, and then I would have that. I believe that houses had to get redone because I don't think you'd have this. But I don't know that I can trust how many houses had to be redone and trust your math when you guys don't even bring me the record from the client saying the following were unsatisfactory. So we're going to do what we call a little rough justice here because I really don't want to spend another second on this case.
Yeah,
I think I've spent enough.
That's fine.
Okay? I'm going to order you to pay her a remaining salary of $400. That's my verdict.
The verdict is in on this one here in the People's Court, and the plaintiff will be getting $400 out of your pocket. What's your reaction to this outcome?
Well, Judge made a good choice. Basically, it's just all about performance, you know.
$2 a property. This sounds like an unbelievably difficult and low-paying job.
It sounds like it, but the bottom line in this business is all about volume. If you can turn the volume, you can make the money. There's a lot of guys out there that are making substantial salaries taking care of their families.
How many properties can a person visit in one day?
It's dependent on the person. You know, it's dependent on your drive, your motivation to go out there and do the work. A lot of people, they don't have jobs, and this is how we keep them going.
All right. Mm-hmm. All right, right down this way. Okay. All right, here she comes, the verification engineer, right? Specialist. Okay. Was that a good job?
It could have been a good job had it not been such a low-paying job. I think that's really
Did you feel exploited?
Absolutely. A disadvantage to people who just are vulnerable to bloodsuckers, I think, because...
Is that what you're calling him?
Absolutely.
Why'd you take the job then?
I needed something to do.
What do you do now?
Who?
You.
What am I doing now? I'm at Rogers Beer.
Harvey?
Okay, pretty simple. You've got to make a specific deal with your employer on what's reimbursable and what's not before you start your employment. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.